Hi there, this is Tony from pianotone.ca, and in this video, I'm going to be demonstrating all 50 functions that you can have any of your pedals assigned to do on the Yamaha DGX-670. So in this video, I'm not just going to be listing these functions, I'll actually demonstrate them a bit. So this video will actually provide a basic intro into quite a few different functions that are available to you on this amazing piano. So things like Unison, Portamento, etc. I will include chapter links in the description below so that you can jump to a topic you're interested in if you want to. Now the DGX has two pedal inputs. One is for a triple pedal unit and the other is just a standard 1/4 inch sustain pedal input. So if you've got both types of pedals, you can actually customize all four of them and assign them to whatever functions that you like. So Yamaha makes two compatible triple pedal units for the DGX. One is the LP1. This one's been around for a while. This one requires the wooden stand because you have to actually mount the entire pedal unit to the stand. But Yamaha has finally come out with a standalone triple pedal, the SC35. I actually have a third-party triple pedal unit from DAOK that I bought on Amazon before Yamaha came out with their FC35 pedal. I did a review on the DAOK pedal unit, which I will include a link to in the description below if you want to check that out. Okay, so let's check out all the things your pedals can do on the Yamaha DGX-670. Okay, so to customize what you want your pedals to do, you do that from the pedal configuration menu, and the easiest way to get at that is to just press direct access, and then just press any of your pedals, and then the menu opens right up. You'll see all the pedals listed up at the top here. The auxiliary one, that's my sustain pedal that's plugged into the 1/4 inch port, and then the left, center, and right, those are the pedals on the triple pedal unit that I have connected. So to choose which pedal you want to configure, you use these buttons here to move up and down. And then you can choose what you want that pedal to do, either with the wheel or with these buttons from any of the items that are in the list. So you can apply any of those 50 functions to any of the pedals. For this video, I'm just going to use the auxiliary pedal. Now also note in the bottom right, you can choose to have whichever pedal you're configuring apply to or be ignored by the left voice, the main voice, or the layered voice. So that's pretty handy. Okay, so let's get started. I've got the auxiliary pedal chosen, so I'm just going to scroll to the top of the list. And the first choice is Articulation 1. So this allows you to trigger a super articulation for a compatible voice. I'll exit from the pedal menu so I can see the main screen here. And then I'm going to choose a guitar voice. And I'll just use the concert guitar that comes up by default, because this one is a super articulation voice. You can see it says S-Art, which means it's got articulations available. So the super articulation for the concert guitar is basically the sound of tapping on the body of the guitar. So when I press the pedal, you can hear that tapping sound. Now the second voice, if I move down to the nylon guitar, I tap on the pedal, nothing's happening, and that's because this one, if I don't have the pedal pressed, I don't have it pressed right now, so you can hear the guitar. Now I'm going to hold the pedal down. Not sure if that's supposed to be a harmonic or just going up an octave, but when you're pressing the pedal down, you get that sound as opposed to letting the pedal go, and you get that. Now I'm going to go back to the concert guitar voice, and then I'm going to go back to the pedal menu. So just press direct access again, press a pedal, and then I'm going to go to articulation number 2. Some of the super articulation voices have a second articulation. They don't all, but some of them do. So that one, as you would expect, now when I press the pedal, is going to trigger the second super articulation. Now that's also for that guitar, that concert guitar is tapping on the body of the guitar, but it's a little more muffled. See if I go back to articulation 1. It's much louder, and that one's muffled. So, it's super cool. Okay, now for the next one is Unison on or off. I'm going to choose that. I'm just actually going to go back and choose a piano voice here. I'll choose the CFX Grand and then go back into the direct access menu. So I'm on Unison. Now some of the styles have a feature called Unison and Accent. So I'm going to go to the style selection. Now I've chosen 60s vintage rock. You can see it says Unison there. That means it has this feature available. So what this does, if I start the style up and I just get a chord going. So if I play along with the piano, If I start playing with more force, you can see it throws in cymbal crashes. Now if that's the accent feature, so it's trying to react to my playing. Now what the Unison feature does is if I hold the pedal down, it's going to have the backing band, the accompaniment is going to stop, and it's going to basically duplicate what I play. So this is cool to put in a signature line in a song. So for example, if I play like this, now I hold the pedal down, so you can see it just went to the drums, and now I'm still holding the pedal. No matter what I do, it's going to, all the other instruments that are in this style are going to match me. Then I let go of the pedal. And I'd have to start the accompany back up again with a chord when I let go of the pedal. That's pretty cool. So the next three selections on here are actually sustain, sostenudo, and soft. Those are the typical uses for a triple pedal unit on a real piano. The right pedal is going to be your sustain, the middle your sostenudo, and the left your soft. So when I've got it set to sustain, what a sustain pedal does on a real piano is it lifts up all of the dampers so that all of the notes, regardless of which one you play, is going to ring until it either gradually stops ringing and stops vibrating, or until you let the pedal down. So that's something most of you are probably already familiar with, but no sustain, sustain. Okay, so right now I've got sustain assigned to my auxiliary pedals, and I've got the layer turned on of strings. So if I hold the pedal down, everything's going to sustain. But what if I don't want the strings to sustain? I can go to the layer and say turn that off. So you can hear the strings just held on for a second, like while I had the keys down basically. So that can be pretty handy. It could also be handy if you're playing a left-hand bass or something. You don't want the sustain pedal to apply to that, but you do want it to apply to your main voice. Okay, so on to sostenudo. So this is what the center pedal on a triple pedal unit is typically going to be doing on a real piano. And as you can see on the list, my triple pedal is already set up for that. So I'm just going to use the triple pedal unit to demonstrate this. So what the sostenudo pedal does is it only lifts up the dampers for notes that are pressed down when you press the pedal. And then it will continue to sustain just those notes until you release the pedal. So if I hold down a C chord, I'm going to turn the layer off here. If I hold down a C chord and then I press, now I'm pressing and holding the sostenudo pedal. Now if I let go, it's going to sustain those three notes from that C chord. So that's sustained, that's not, that is, that's not, and that is. So that's what a sostenudo pedal does. And then as soon as I let the sostenudo pedal up, then it's back to normal. So the next setting is the soft setting, and the soft setting is what it does on an acoustic piano is actually pretty cool. Normally a hammer, when you play a note on an acoustic piano and the hammer swings, it's going to hit more than one string for that particular note. If you hold down the soft pedal, what it's going to do, it's actually going to shift the key bed and the associated hammers a little bit so that they just hit one string or less strings, which basically results in a softer sound. So when you have the soft pedal pressed, you're just going to get a softer sound. Now I've got the pedal pressed. So that's what the soft pedal does. Now next on this list is glide up. So now what glide up does is actually bend your note up a whole step and then back down when you release the pedal. So that's something that you typically use for guitar or synth voices, and then glide down, which is the next function in the list, basically does the opposite, except down a whole step. So let's check that out. I'll play a C note. And you can hear me press the pedal and then let it go. You're not typically going to use this for piano. You're going to use it for a guitar. Maybe I'll switch to a guitar here. And then glide down is going to send it down a note. And you notice this range is 2. That's 2 half steps. If I go back to glide up, right now it's gliding up from a C to a D because that's 2 half steps. So it went to that note. I can change this range to be 4 half steps, so basically 2 full steps. So now it's going to go to an E instead of a D. Same thing with the glide down. Okay, now the next on the list is Portamento. Now what Portamento does is introduce a gradual slide up or down from one note to the next if you're holding down the pedal. So to demo this, I'm going to choose a trumpet voice. I'll just choose the bright trumpet. Now to see some details on the Portamento setting, I'm going to choose this voice set. Then I'll use the buttons to scroll down to Portamento, and you can see there already is some Portamento set to this at a value of 27, whatever that means if you're not familiar with it yet, but you'll see in a second. So if I play 2 notes without the pressing the pedal, you don't hear any kind of a slide, but now I'm going to press the pedal down. And there's a really subtle slide in there. Just to make that a little bit more obvious, I'm going to turn the Portamento up a bit. I'll do that again. So you can hear the slide there very obviously. Now something else, just while I'm here, that I wanted to mention is this mono and poly thing here. Right now it's set to poly, so it's polyphonic. So if I can actually play a chord with my trumpet, which isn't a normal thing that you would do with a trumpet. And if you're playing really fast trumpet runs or something, and you wanted to prevent any chance of having 2 notes sound at the same time, like a chord, for those kinds of instruments, I'm surprised they don't have it this way by default, but they don't. You can switch it to mono. So right now, if I play a chord, I'm only getting one of those notes. I'm only getting that C. I think that time I'm getting the G. I must have just pressed it a little bit sooner, but you're only going to get one note if you set it to mono. So if you're doing really fast runs, then you might want to do that for certain kinds of voices. Okay, so back out to the pedal menu. The next 2 are pitch bend up and pitch bend down. These work the same as the glide up and glide down, except instead of a smooth transition up or down, it's instant. So for example, you can hear how that's instant as I press the pedal to pitch bend down or to pitch bend up. You could actually maybe use that with a guitar voice. It's kind of a hammer-on kind of a thing, to hammer onto a string. And once again, on the direct access menu, you can set the, for the pedals, you can set the range as well. So I can make that a full, like 4 half steps instead. So, super cool. Okay, so the next one on the list is modulation. And what this does is basically makes the sound wave vibrate while the pedal is held down. So I can hold my pedal down. So you should be able to hear a little bit of a kind of an oscillation there. I'll lift the pedal up. So that's without the pedal. Then you should be able to hear the sound wave kind of oscillating there. And if you want to make any adjustments to the modulation settings, you can do that from that voice set menu for your currently selected voice and going to the controller tab. And then you can go down to the modulation there and make whatever changes that you want. Now the next on the list is Modulation Alt. All this is basically, with modulation, you have to hold down the pedal for the modulation effect to take place. With the Modulation Alt, you're basically just turning the modulation on and then turning it off again. So, for example, now you can hear that it's on. Now you can hear that it's off. So I could have it off for a while, and then just turn it on. And then back off again, etc. Okay, so next on the list is something called Rotor. Now, to be honest, until this video, I have never heard of Rotor before, so I had to do some online research to figure out what it was. And if I'm right, what this is basically an attempt at imitating a rotary or a Leslie speaker effect with phase shifting and vibrato. This is often referred to as univibe. There's actually univibe guitar pedals that you can buy still. And this is just basically meant to imitate a rotary speaker. Now, for this to take effect, you actually also have to have something else done as well. First of all, I'm going to select an organ voice. So I'll just choose the Jazz Rotary. Now, even though I've got Rotor selected, now if I press the pedal, nothing changed. And that's because there's one other thing that I have to do first. I have to actually choose that as the DSP effect for this voice. So I've got my organ voice chosen. So I'm going to go into voice set, and then I'm going to go to the effects tab. And this is where I choose the DSP type. Go down here, and right now it's on an amp clean in the legacy category. What I have to do here for the Rotor effect to take effect is I got to go find that in the list. Okay, so there's Rotor. So now that I have that in the list, right now I'm not holding the pedal. Now I'll press the pedal down. Now it's pretty subtle, and you can go in and change the levels and stuff for the Rotor. But given, at least to me, because I'm not using this with a guitar or anything, if I was to use any of this kind of an effect, it would be with an organ. There are tons of really good actual rotary speaker DSPs that I can use instead of this, so I would never actually use this one myself. Just so you can hear what it does, though, if I press this button to go into the detail, I can crank this rotor speed. So that's without the effect. Then that's with the effect. So you can hear it, and it is kind of sounding like a really bad imitation of a Leslie. But once again, I would never actually use that anyways. So going back to the pedal menu, the next option we actually have is exactly what I would use, which is organ rotary, slow or fast. So it's basically to switch your Leslie rotary speaker between the slow and the fast settings. Once again, though, that's not going to do anything until I choose the correct effect. I'm still on that Rotor effect there. So what I have to do is go to my organ voice, go to voice set, and on the effects tab, choose the DSP type, and then I'm going to scroll to one of the rotary speaker effects. I've tried a bunch of these out, and this Rotary SP4 has always been my favorite, but now that that's the case, that's the DSP I've chosen. If I hold that down, that's on slow. You can hear the rotary speaker emulation. Now if I press the pedal, you can hear it speed up. Press it again, and then it slows down with that nice gradual rotary effect. So that's super cool. That's something I would actually use a lot. Okay, so now the next pedal choice is keyboard harmony on or off. Now I'm going to switch to a piano voice for this. Is the CFX Grand. Now when harmony is on, it's going to add extra notes to what you play in your right hand, but those notes that it's adding are based on what chord you are fingering in your left hand while playing along with accompaniment. So I'm going to start the current rhythm going. I'm going to hold down a C chord. Now this is with no harmony. I'm not holding the pedal. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the pedal held down. So it's adding harmony notes based on that C chord. But listen to how I'm going to play the C chord again and do that little riff again, and then I'm going to switch to an F chord, and you can listen to how the harmony notes change. I'll go to the F chord. So it's super cool that it's based on those the chords that you're playing. Now the next bunch of functions are for controlling your accompaniment. Most of these are pretty self-explanatory actually. So this one is style start and stop. I just pressed the pedal, style started, just pressed it again, style stopped. So that's pretty self-explanatory. Now the next one allows you to toggle Synchro Start on or off. So you can see as I press the pedal, Synchro Start turned on, Synchro Start's turned off. Not sure I'd use that, to be honest. It's easy enough to just press Sync Start before you start a song. But anyways, you can do that if you want. And then the next one is Synchro Stop On or off. Now, I'm still a bit new to Arranger keyboards. I am learning. But to be honest, I've never noticed a Synchro Stop before. Now, when this is on, the accompaniment is going to stop the second you let go of the chord in your left hand, which could be useful for certain songs where you have some starts and stops in the song. So for example, so right now, Synchro Stop is off. If I hit the pedal, you can see how it stopped. So it's only going to play while I'm holding the chord down. So depending on the song that you've got going, that might be a useful thing. Now the next ones are to trigger intro 1, intro 2, or intro 3. So the intros are the three different basically lengths. So for example, if I choose intro 1, I'm going to get an intro. So when I still have to start the accompaniment. But that one I just got the basic short intro because I had intro 1 chosen. Now if I go to intro 2, it's going to be longer. See, when I press the pedal, that starts flashing. It means I'm going to get an intro. But this one's longer. And then the style starts. Same thing, intro 3 would be the super long one. Then the next 4 are to switch between your variations. So main A, now it isn't to switch between them, actually, sorry. It's to turn on main A, turn on main B, turn on main C. So if I go to here and start the style up, and I'm on C, if I've got my pedal set to go back to A, then I can do that with the pedal. Only thing is though, is I can't go back to C again. If I keep hitting the pedal, it's just going to stay on A. So that's why, to me, the much more useful ones are fill down and then fill up, which is a couple later. So for example, if I start that style up again, and I'm going to switch this to fill up. As I press the pedal, it's going to go to B. Press the pedal again, it goes to C, to D, then it'll actually cycle around. It'll go back to A. So that to me is a lot more useful than just choosing variation A, variation B, etc. So if I was to use, configure my triple pedal unit for working with accompaniment, I'd probably have one pedal set up to be fill up and the other one set up to be fill down. That would be super useful. Now fill self, what this does, start this up again. It's going to give you a short fill without changing variations. Press the pedal again. Then fill break is going to be the same as pressing the break button where you get it'll insert a break. And it goes back again. So also useful if you want to use them. Then the next ones, just like the intros, are to trigger the endings. I'd probably have another pedal set up to do this as well if I was using the accompaniment and having the triple pedal set up to work with it. So if I start this up, and then I hit the pedal, I'm going to get ending 1, so a short ending. So that's super useful. Then the next one is half bar fill in, which when you activate it adds a fill in between changes of variations in the middle of a bar. Then we've got fade in or fade out. When you press the pedal, the accompaniment is going to either actually fade in or fade out as per the current settings you have specified. So I start this up again, play a chord. Because the accompaniment is going, now when I press the pedal, it's going to gradually fade out. Now the next option is to toggle between multi-fingered or fingered on bass chord detection modes. So with fingered on bass, if you're fingering a chord with an inversion, you're going to get a slash chord with the leftmost note as your bass note. For example, get this accompaniment going, and I'm going to go out to the main screen so that you can see the current chord being displayed right here. So I'll play a C chord. So that's a normal C chord in regular position. And if I play an inversion with this G note down at the bottom, nothing's changed because I'm still in multi-finger mode. But if I go back and I'm going to play my normal C chord, but now I'm going to press the pedal, this is going to toggle me to fingered on bass mode. Now, when I play the inversion, you can see I get a C over G instead. So that could be useful if you want to go back and forth between using fingered on bass versus not using fingered on bass. Then the next choice we have is bass hold. Now with this one, if you hold the pedal down, the current bass note is going to stay regardless of the chord changes. So I'm just going to start this up again. Hit exit so we can get out there so you can see my C. So I'm not pressing the pedal, I'm just getting an F chord back to a C chord. Now I'm going to hold the pedal down. So I'm holding it now. Now when I go to the F chord, you can see I get F over C. I'm still holding the pedal, G over C, A minor over C, etc. As soon as I let go of the pedal and play a chord, then it returns to normal. So if you wanted to keep that same bass note going, you could hold down the bass hold. Now the next few functions, if I go direct access again, press my pedal, these are all to do with the song section. So if I go to the main menu here, and the current song is always displayed in the bottom left. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go select, and I'm going to choose let's choose Danny Boy. Press exit. Now you can see Danny Boy is displayed down here as the current song. So now if I go back to the pedal options and I go to the first one, which is song player pause, I just press the pedal so you can hear the song start. And I press it again to stop. Then the next one is to advance the score page forward or backwards. So back out at the main menu, if I press the score or lyrics page, now this one is just a chord-based one, so it doesn't have a score. I'm going to switch to a different song here. I'm going to go select, and let's choose this one. And I go to score lyrics. This one has the score. If I go back to direct access and go to score page plus, go back out here. As I press the pedal, you can see it's advancing from score page to score page, and then score page minus would do the same thing. Now I'm going to go back to that other song that had lyrics, Danny Boy. And then if I go to the pedal menu again, lyrics plus, so that I can advance it. Then as I press the pedal over and over, you can see it bounces from lyrics page to lyrics page. Now the next option is text page. Now some of these files, to be honest, I don't know a ton about what's in the text page, but if the song has a text page, then you can advance or unadvance the text page with the pedal. I'm not going to worry too much about that one. Now, talk on and off. Now, this is actually a useful feature for, let's say you're using your DGX-670 to perform. Right now, I'm talking to you. I don't have any mic effects turned on, and that's because I'm talking, and reverb would be really annoying. But if I was singing, I would want lots of reverb on to hide my horrible voice. So now that I've chosen talk on or off, you can hear there's no effects on my voice, but if I press the pedal, now you can hear a whole bunch of effects going on. Now they're off. So that just means that I'm able to flip back and forth easily. So I could talk to the audience, like announce the next song, whatever, and drink specials, and then press the pedal and then turn my effects back on for singing the next song. Then we have tap tempo. That's basically the same as just using the tempo tap button. You could tap the tempo with the foot switch instead, and it would change the current tempo of your style. I'm not sure that's one I would ever use, but it's there if you want it. Now this percussion one, this is kind of cool. You can choose between, choose any of the drum kits that are built into the DGX, and then choose which instrument you want. So here I'm hitting the pedal. Right now it's a kick drum. Change it to a snare roll, or maybe a crash. Let me find a crash cymbal in here. Okay, so then I could exit out of here and exit out of there. Get the style going. And then whenever I hit the pedal, I get a cymbal crash. Not sure I'd be coordinated enough to make that sound good, but you might be. But still, that's a cool option. You could even do a hi-hat, do your own manual count in, that type of thing. So if I go back to the direct access menu, the next options are, that's to turn the main on or off. So you can see that's turning the main voice off. Main voice on, same thing with the lower on or off, or sorry, the layer on or off, and then the left on or off. And that looks like we're at the end of the list. So those are all of the functions. So that's all 50 functions that you can assign to your pedals on the Yamaha DGX-670. Quite a few options there. Maybe Yamaha needs to make a pedal unit with 10 pedals so that you can enable more than 4. Depending on what your needs are, if you've got a triple pedal unit and a sustain pedal, you've got a lot of options. If it was me and I was using the accompaniment, for example, I would probably set up the triple pedal unit to have one pedal move up variations, the other pedal move down variations, and the third pedal to trigger an ending. Because it's easy to start it, but triggering an ending with a pedal might be handy to have. And then I just use the standalone sustain pedal, either as sustain for piano voices or as a rotary speaker switch for organ voices. But as you've seen in this video, there are tons of options available for you depending on how you're using the keyboard. And if you're going to customize these settings, you should save your settings in a registration memory bank so you can call them up quickly and easily. The pedal settings do get saved by default when you save a registration. If you're not familiar with how the registration memory works on the DGX-670, I did do a video on that I'll link to in the description below for you to check out. So that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you found the content useful. If so, please feel free to smash the like button and subscribe to my channel. It does really help me out. I've left links in the description below to check out current prices in your area on the DGX-670, as well as the different options for triple pedals, as well as links to some of my other videos on the DGX-670. And as usual, I've also included links to some online piano training that worked really well for me that I can highly recommend. So thanks again for checking out the channel and stopping by, and happy piano playing. Have an awesome day.